For over 4 decades, one man has shaped the destiny of Cameroon, President Paul Biya, who has ruled since 1982. At 92 years old, he remains at the helm of a nation where the population's median age is just under 20. To some, he is a symbol of continuity. To others, reverse is the case. The recent 2025 presidential election and the wave of protests that followed have once again thrown the country into turmoil, exposing not just a disputed vote, but a system stretched to its limits. On October 12, 2025, Cameroonians went to the polls. According to the official results announced by the Constitutional Council, President Biya won by 53.66% of the vote. His main challenger, former Minister Issa Chiroma Bakary, secured 35.19%. But Minister Bakary rejected the result outright, alleging massive fraud and manipulation, and insisting his party's independent count gave him a clear majority. For weeks, the people of Cameroon has been flooding the streets angry, frustrated, and demanding change. Places like Yaoundé, Daola, and some of the English-speaking regions, thousands have come out to protest. The latest protest began after the 2025 presidential election, which many believe was rigged to keep President Biya in office. Videos shared online showing police chasing protesters, firing tear gas, and arresting opposition supporters. The government says the demonstrations are illegal and claims that foreign powers are behind them. But people on the street say they are simply fed up with poverty, corruption, and unemployment. The protests have also spread to the Anglophone regions, areas where people have long complained of being treated unfairly by the French-speaking majority. There, the situation is worse. Reports say soldiers are arresting people at night, and some protesters have been harmed. At least 48 civilians were confirmed unalive. Citing UN sources, 100 more were injured or detained. Human Rights Watch described widespread arbitrary arrests, internet disruptions, and media censorship, noting that these patterns are similar patterns of Cameroon's election since the 1990s. President Paul Biya came to power, as we all know, in 1982 after the resignation of Ahmadou Ahidjo. Since then, he has weathered coups, constitutional crisis, and armed conflict. In 2008, a constitutional amendment removed the 2-term presidential limit, effectively allowing President Biya to rule indefinitely. Critics argue that the system has evolved into a managed democracy, one where elections occur but true competition does not. State institutions, the judiciary, and military remain tightly controlled by the presidency. At 92, President Biya rarely appears in public cabinet meetings and often chaired by proxies. Many questions whether the president still exercises day-to-day authority or if the power has been institutionalized within a narrow elite around him. With 70% of the population under 35, an entire generation has never seen another leader. Their frustrations has turned into political disillusionment. The Anglophone crisis, ongoing since 2016, has created thousands of casualties and displaced over 600,000 people. According to the UN, the absence of political reform has only deepened resentment in those regions. Following the 2025 election, cities like Daola, Garoua, and Bafoussam became the epicenters of protest. Many of those in the streets were young, educated, and unemployed, born into President Biya's rule, raised in economic hardship, and now determined to take back their voice. But the state's reaction was predictable. Authorities imposed curfews, shut down internet access in key regions, and banned public gatherings. Dozens of activists were detained and opposition headquarters were raided. Despite the clampdown, the protests continue. Smaller, more quiet, but persistent. They represent the simmering demand for renewal in a system allergic to change. Cameroon's crisis is not just political, it is existential.
Voice of Africa by Africans.